Okay, this is the Conservation Lab. As you can see, it's a restricted area. Only certain people at the museum have access to it. I'm going to leave the door open. So this is where artifacts are conserved, mostly metal artifacts because of rust factor. Here's an example of iron that was found in an archaeological site at the museum, and it was conserved and coated and put inside of this to keep all the air out of it. That keeps the moisture out of it. We x-ray all the artifacts because that helps us ID what we have. Here's an example of an x-ray. We have a lot of x-rays. We've x-rayed a lot of artifacts over the years. These are all x-rays over here from all the archaeological sites, all the metal artifacts that we have excavated. So this shows some nails, and we can tell if they're hand wrought or machine cut by the way that the metal is going. And that's an arrowhead, a copper or iron arrowhead. I'm not sure which one it is. And buttons, cufflinks. So this is a starting point to help us ID things. Clean them up, then we x-ray them, then we bring them back into the labs and look at them closer and do some research on them. These are fume hoods. So when you're working with chemicals, you can switch it on and the chemicals go up. This is an aboriginal ceramic that was found that was being glued together so we can get the shape of it, and that helps us date it. This is actually from Bluff Point in Connecticut, which is a really popular state park that people hike at. When we're waiting for the artifacts to be looked at, we keep them in the refrigerator. So we have like 3 or 4 refrigerators in here. You can see things in there because the cold keeps them from rusting more. So that's where we store them until we get to them to conserve them. This is also an area where we do a lot of monitoring for the entire museum, make sure that the humidity levels are low. They look at this computer here. This helps to make sure that things aren't getting too moist in the museum in the exhibit areas. Microscopes everywhere. Some are more powerful than others. This is one that you can put your artifact under and direct the light right on it to really look good at what you're trying to identify. Over here, there's the more refrigerators. Like I said, this is another station where artifacts are looked at closely. Here's some of the tools. When they first come in, you want to pick off some of the rust once you know exactly what you're doing, because you don't want to damage the artifact. It's a starting point. And then you'd go into getting it, fine-tuning it and getting an x-ray of it. These are interesting. These have been here for quite some time. These were made by somebody who worked here when the museum first opened, who actually went out and took samples of features, which are areas in an excavation that have, it's considered an artifact, but it's too big to bring in. A feature is like a storage pit or a dump or a hearth. And he went in and he took samples and then coated them of the different soil layers in the ground of these features.